Hello everybody and welcome back to Streamatrix. My name is Neil and you're back watching hopefully your feature favorite football channel, and we are back with another stream after a gap of about a week, but we are back with some incredible content hopefully for you guys, and also for a good relaxation and a good discussion from my end as well. A lot has happened this particular week, to be honest. So first things first, if you check on the chat, there's a new YouTube channel that I have made, and you can be a part of it as well. It's called Decoded by Streamatrix, and where I'm going to be doing a deep dive into football topics from across various teams, not just Manchester United. The first video is out right now. You can check that out. The link is in the chat, and will also be in the description of this particular video as well when it goes out. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of content focused on football and discussions about football as well. More content than the live streams on this particular channel. So on this channel, I'm going to be focusing more on live streams, whereas the other channel will be more of football content in so video format. Apart from that, so that was happening this week. Apart from that, of course, the big news is that Amorim is now officially has taken role as Manchester United's head coach. And along with the taking in charge of being United's head coach, he has had a couple of training sessions with our senior teams as well. Also, he's had his first press conference today, which was much awaited, and I think there were a lot of good questions. So in this particular stream and video, if you're watching it as a video format, I'm going to be first reacting to the press conference, because there were a few pointers that I really liked from Ruben Amorim that was there in the press conference, and I think it shows his mentality and the approach that he's going to take. And post that, we will be doing the preview of Ipswich versus Manchester United, which is going to be there on Sunday. Yeah, post that I will be also doing the game week preview for the Premier League. So a lot to get into, and we need to get started. Without further ado, let's get started with the Manchester United game preview and Amorim's press conference reaction. Right. All right. So this is going to be quotes directly from the Manchester United website. I did watch the interview live. It's live on YouTube as well. You can take a look at what he had to say in terms of the video format if you wanted to. In this video, I'm going to give it a little bit more short. I'm not going to go in detail about everything that he said. There were a lot of good questions as well. I think there were altogether 12 to 15 questions. I'm going to be taking a few important pointers from the press conference and maybe discussing a few important points as well. So let's get started with that. I'm going to be scrolling down to the first part of the conference, and the first question was what, as Manchester United as a club, it's a huge club, and he would have had a perception before he arrived at the club. So is the club bigger than what he thought? And I liked his reaction. You can read it for yourself. But the gist is that he said that this is a big club. He, as a part of his initial launch video as well on Manchester United's website and on YouTube, you can see that he mentions that he doesn't feel the weight of the club yet. He said that when he will start in a match, I think he might be feeling the pressure of Old Trafford and the enormity of Old Trafford. But I think overall he had a good approach. He has a good approach towards this particular channel. There was another interview that came out today with Gary Neville, which is on Sky Sports YouTube channel as well. You can take a look at that, because that goes a bit more in depth into it. I really liked his charisma, his aura. So the few things that stood out to me in terms of Amorim's approach to press conferences: first, he's not fazed by the challenge at Manchester United. Second, he has a good, charming personality, and that's going to come in handy when he deals with the press and the media, because I'm sure eventually they are going to go against him if the results don't show on the pitch. And the third thing that stood out to me was his game plan and his idea, which he talks about a lot. So we will be getting into that as well. So first, let's take a look at what he had to say about Manchester United as a club. These are direct quotes from the press conference. So he says, yeah, it is bigger than what he had imagined. There are a lot of departments, so much different to Sporting, and Sporting is a big club in Portugal. But this is a big club, as in you feel it's a global club. So we have much to do, and it is not just coaching the team, but he has also had a lot of help and a lot of meetings, and also improving in the needed areas. And he also feels very comfortable and happy, which is good to see as a Manchester United fan. I think Ten Hag's first conference, it was also very exciting. He said Ten Hag's first conference had a lot of statements like, eras come to an end, which became like a tagline for him after the first season. But here he was less focusing on the peripheral focus, but more on himself. But any which ways, let's scroll down to the main important question that I wanted to. Right. All right. So first, let's look at what he says about the players. Right. Okay, so first, the question was, you obviously have a lot of belief in your players, and there has been a lot spoken about this system, which is Amorim system. Is it going to be a case of evolution or a revolution at Manchester United? He says it's neither. It's neither a revolution nor an evolution. And I liked his breakdown, the way he broke down the points, mentioning that you play 5 at the back, or you play 3 at the back, or you play 4 at the back. The fundamentals of football and defending will still remain the same. It's all about understanding positional sense. He goes a little bit more in depth in the Gary Neville interview as well. But his idea is that it's not revolutionizing Manchester United, nor are his ideas like a very, very new approach which is not done before. He lives by his ideas. He absolutely is positive about how the ideas are going to come to fruition. He showed proof of it in Sporting, and he came with the mentality in the press conferences, mentioning that I am not going to change the ideas. I know that this system works, and the players will have to adapt to this particular system. So he also says that he believes in these players. He believes in the players that are there in Manchester United right now, and until and unless they give him a reason not to. So he's going to back them until the very end. So that's what he had to say about the players. Now, if we go word to word, he said it's not a revolution because the football is not so different than with 5 players in the back, 3 players in the back, or 4 players in the back. I cannot say evolution because we have to wait and see, but we will play a different type of football. We have our own ideas. I'm not saying it's the best ideas, but it is our way of seeing football. It is not evolution or revolution. It is a change in the way we play football. And I think that is this is music to the ears of Manchester United fans, because we've been crying out loud for Ten Hag to start implementing his style of play, but Ten Hag was always of the idea that he doesn't have the players to implement it, so it would have been difficult for him to implement the style of play that he had it in Ajax. But Amorim has come in strong, saying that I am not going to change the way we play. This is my way. This is the way that I know, and I know that it works. So you guys will have to train and adapt to it, and he is going to focus on it. Now, when it comes to training and the shortcomings of Manchester United, he gave a brief overview of it. He said that it's only 3 training sessions. There will be an overall positive approach towards the new manager being appointed for the club. So there is going to be a little bit of a positivity around surrounding that. But he also mentioned that he needs time to assess the team and also assess the shortcomings of Manchester United. But this right here, this particular paragraph that you see on the screen, is very, very important. So the question was, Ruben, every manager looks for quick wins, quick gains when they turn up at a club. Where do you see those coming in at Manchester United? What do you see here that makes you think that you can have an impact straight away? And his answer is in simple things, I think. If you want to speak about the team and the way we play, I think we lose the ball too often, and we have to keep the ball better. We have to be better when we run back also, and I think it is clear for everybody, and we have to be very good in the details. Sometimes we are hoping to change a lot of things, big things, and I think it is the small things, and we have to change in those small things in football, play as a team, understanding the game in one way. That is the focus. So I can tell you in the small things, I think I can help these players a lot, and that is amazing to see a manager come in and sort of like assess the team right away. Because I think if we had to put down pointers about the improvement of where this team can improve in this particular setup, I think we have always seen that there's a lack of effort when we lose the ball. We often see midfielders and attackers not running back to cover their part of the field, and we also see that there's a lack of intensity in the way we press. we don't press as a team, and we often press only from time to time. And we also, the other thing is also the fact that he mentioned that we lose the ball very, very often. Like there are a lot of Hollywood passes by Bruno, or there is a lot of misplaced passes or impatience on the ball, which leads to us losing the ball. So yeah, I think overall, if you look at all of these things combined, it becomes difficult to retain the ball, to retain possession, to control the game, and I think that is what he wants to do by the end of his training plan. Is he wants to control the game and control the outcome. So he also goes a little bit more in depth in the Gary Neville interview, where he goes a bit more in depth into this point. He says that the players need to adapt. They need to adapt not just in terms of the playing style, but also their positioning. Neville asks him that is he going to be using fullbacks or wingbacks or wingers in his system. So he says that I can't give all of the details away, but it is important for the players to understand that if Amad Diallo is playing as a right wing back, or if Dallo is playing as a right wing back, they need to be knowing exactly what to do in what situations. He basically wants the team to play as one. He wants all his players to know what the next player is going to do when he gets the ball, or what that player does when they don't have possession of the ball. When are they going to press? How are they going to press? Which players should make spaces available for the remainder of the team? And I think he has analyzed it in a very, very beautiful way and in a very crisp way. I like the way that he had kept his answers very short, precise, and to the point. He had a smile on his face the entire time, but he also mentioned the fact that in the details are in the smaller things, getting the smaller things right, and the bigger things will happen. When Neville asked him about the results, where does he expect Manchester United to be at the end of the season? Is he aiming for top 4? He said that I can't predict now for the end of the season. I want to take it game by game. For now, my most important thing is to win the next game, and then the game after, and then the game after. And if we end up being in the top 4, great. But for me, my main important point is to be able to get these players playing the way that I want the team to play, or I envision the team to play, because he knows that it can be the right way. In his interviews, he's mentioned his way a lot, like what is his way of doing things. And Neville asked that, what is your idea? And he said, my idea is for the team to think as one, and that's the main idea. For the team to come into the picture and understand that, we are playing for the team. He said that he's going to have his players back. He's not going to push any players under the bus, and he's also not going to ensure, and he's also going to protect the players, but as long as they think about the team first. So it's very important for him to see the players playing as a team, and that's what I think he's going to focus on as well. Now, it's important to note that he didn't have a lot of players, senior players, in the training that he had conducted in the earlier this week because of international duty, but he did have quite a few strength of players as well. Now, when it comes to his team selection, I'm going to come to that, but before that, let's look at the reporters did ask him a lot about Mourinho, and there will be a lot of parallels with Mourinho, because again, from Portugal, hipster coach, has a good attitude, personality, and he did mention that Mourinho messaged him wishing him luck and saying that Manchester United is a good place and consists of good people in the club, and that's what he mentioned in his first reveal interview at Manchester United as well, that he felt an instant connection with the people at the club. So that's good to hear, but that's all standard responses. Now, when it comes to the players, now this was one of the bigger points I think that were focused on in post Ruben's arrival, is that the transfers decisions are going to be with Dan Ashworth, Wilcox, and Omar Barada, the CEO of Manchester United. So, but he busted that myth. So the question was, has that been agreed off, that you will have the final sign off on players? And he's saying, I'm not saying that this is the final say, but I have a great responsibility when we choose the players that we want to bring into the club, because this is something that should be done in this way. I am the manager and the head coach, and I have to choose the players. And this is what is needed. We do not need a veto on a player. Like, for example, if a player is recommended by the management team to Ruben, there should be input by all the management team combined, and that is when the player will be the right fit. The first interview that he gave at Manchester United, he talks about intensity. He wants players with intensity. Now, we know the present set of players don't have too much intensity in them, apart from a very few handful of players. So he wants to either build that intensity, or he wants to have players with intensity come into the club. So that's a very important factor, and to know that he's going to have his say on the recruitment, he's going to have his say on have his final say on the players coming into the club is an important point. And I think it's good to see that the management are all on the same page. So yeah, overall that was those were the three main pointers that I felt was important discussing. First is attitude towards the club, towards the role in general, where he doesn't feel the pressure as much, but as he's more so excited than feeling bogged down by the pressure. The second is the fact that he has identified the gaps in the team right now, and he wants to instill that principle in them to be able to track back when they lose the ball, and to not lose the ball very often, and to hold the play. He mentions in the Neville interview as also that you cannot press for 90 minutes. So if you keep a hold of the ball, you relieve a lot of that pressure, and then you can also gain some energy and then press again when you lose the ball. So he has a clear style. The third thing that stuck out to me in the press conference was that he will not abandon his playing style for anybody. The players need to adapt, and they need to adapt to different positions. He mentioned that the team that he's going to select might not look very different on paper, but their positioning sense, their play, and their principles will be very different, and it will be very clear from the first game itself. So looking forward to that. And also the final important point in this interview that I felt was the fact that he will have his say on transfers. He will have his input on transfers and recruitment, and that is important in any management field, is what I feel, because if he's given players that he can't play with, then by the end it's going to end up affecting him negatively and his playing style. So that was it. That was Ruben Amorim's conference for first press conference as Manchester United manager versus Ipswich. So you guys can let me know in the comments below what your guys' thoughts are. Are you excited by Ruben Amorim's arrival? Do you have any inputs? Do you think that he is the right fit for Manchester United? He was often asked, are you the right fit for Manchester United? And he has always maintained the fact that I am the right man at the right time in the right job, is what he always keeps mentioning, that he is the man for this job. He also mentioned in the Neville's interview that if Manchester United was already winning and Manchester United was in a state of stability, he thinks that he doesn't know if he would have chosen this particular challenge. This goes to show that he wants a challenge where he can build the team from ground up and make them successful. And that is what we want to see as Manchester United fans as well. So that's all music to Manchester United fans' ears. But that's it about the first press conference of Ruben Amorim. Now, let's come to the preview of Manchester United versus Fulham. All right. Okay, so the first match is of Ruben Amorim's era is against Ipswich away. If you see our past form under Ruud, we did get back to winning ways against Leicester twice. We drew against Chelsea, and then again we won against PAOK in the Europa League matches. So we are coming off a decent momentum of winning 3 out of 5 and drawing 1 and losing 1 to West Ham. So the team will be in better spirits, and also with the new manager, it's going to be a new manager bounce as well. So let's look at the first preview. And all right, so head to head, I think in the history of Manchester United, they have faced in the Premier League and the League Cup. The last encounter was in the League Cup in 2015. So there's not much to look at how their head to head form is. Ipswich's form, let's look at the table quickly and look at Ipswich's form. So Ipswich is in the 17th position. United are in the 13th position. The point difference is of 7 points, so there is a significant difference. But if you look at Ipswich's last 5 matches, they won against Spurs, but then they lost 3 and drew 1. So Ipswich's main agenda, I think, coming into this game would see Kieran McKenna is a good coach, and he's doing wonders at Ipswich, and he stayed back at Ipswich and signed a new contract because he knows that Ipswich are onto something, and their playing style speaks for itself. It's not going to be an easy match. They're going to be physical. They would want to win it or at least get a point out of it. So if they do end up scoring first, we will see them defend deeper. We are going to see a bit more compact field of play. But if we are able to score first, we will see a bit more open approach, which will give us a few more opportunities to score more goals as well. But considering Ipswich's form, I think it's fairly evident that that just based on form, United might have an upper hand as well. And looking at where they are in the table, I think United overall. So Manchester United are in 13th position, but if you see the points difference, so for the points, so we have 15 points, and Arsenal fourth have 19 points. So it's just 4 points that separates the top 4 from Manchester United. So it's doable. It's not something completely out of the box that Manchester United can't do, and especially with the new manager bounce, I think this was the correct time to get a new manager in, because Ten Hag's principles, there was something about it that was not clicking in this particular season. And another point which he mentioned, so Ten Hag was here for about 2 years and a few months, and Amorim has signed a contract for 2.5 years, and he was asked the question that is 2.5 years enough to change things around. He said it's not enough. 2.5 years is not enough to get back to winning ways, but 2.5 years is enough for the management team, the club, and the fans and everybody else to be able to judge that is Ruben's system working or not, and also for him to be able to judge is his system working or not. So I think that's a good approach to be there, that he is practical about it. He knows that he will not have unlimited time. He says that he needs time. He can buy time by winning more games, but he knows that 2 years is what he has to be able to show potential, to be able to show capabilities, and to be able to show the entire world that he's the right man for the job. So that's good to see. Now coming back to Manchester United's place in the league right now, I think this match is going to be an incredible match. It's going to we are going to see high tempo. We are going to see a lot of intent. There will be a lot of players who are going to be giving their all for the manager in the front at the get-go. Amorim mentioned that he was asked that will his players be able to adapt to his strategies right away, and he mentioned that right now I see that the players are excited to play no matter in what position, and that's what I need. So we will see what happens next, but as of now he has the players who are willing to adapt to different positions and try out the system, and that's what we need. That's what we need the approach for. So my particular understanding from this game is that it is going to be a tough game. Ipswich are going to put up a lot of fight. Ipswich are going to make it difficult for us. But spoiler alert, I do see us winning this game. I don't see how the new manager bounce, and the fact that a new system is going to be employed, and the excitement behind this entire scenario, I don't see how it goes to our disadvantage. So it is for Ipswich. Again, Ipswich are going to give us a good game. I predict that we are going to win. What is going to be the scoreline? I'm going to be mentioning that after I discuss about the lineup, which is going to be very interesting because none of us know what lineup is going to select. But I'm going to still try and predict the lineup for this particular match. So let me bring up the lineup screen. Right. Okay, so the lineup, predicting the lineup for Ruben Amorim is going to be really, really interesting as a fan, because as per his system, we don't have the exact players that suit his system. So if I get 6 out of 11 right, I think I've done good. If I get anything above that, I think I've done great in this particular prediction. But as you can see, the formation selection for this one that I've gone with is a 3-4-3. With the 2 wide players playing as a sort of a back 5 position, where you have where you will be a part of midfield during the attack and also a part of the back 5 during defending. So this is going to be a very, very, very different structure. So let's start with the nailed on starters in their positions, and then we're going to see which players are going to be changing positions in a system or potentially changing positions in a system. So to start with the goalkeeper, again, it's very easy that it's going to be Onana. And as for Onana, again, he is leading the chart in the Premier League as per for clean sheets and the number of saves made, goal saving actions. So I think he has found his form, found his footing. I still feel that he's yet to make worldly saves, I feel, and I think he's going to develop into it maybe, hopefully. But he is in a good form right now. So yeah, Onana is going to be there. Then we will also have De Ligt. Hold on, is De Ligt injured? I don't think that De Ligt is injured. So I'm going to keep De Ligt here, and I'm going to keep Martinez as well in the lineup. I think Martinez is back from the international duty, but I think he will have only one training session under the belt when it comes to Ruben Amorim. Now, the next nailed-on starter for me is going to be Rashford. Now, I've seen a lot of predictions in which Rashford is playing up front because that's what he was playing in the training. It's a huge possibility that Rashford plays as a striker because in the Amorim's first or the second training session, Rashford was playing up front. But I have a feeling that we are going to see a lot of times a front two of Rashford and Højlund. There's going to be a lot of adaptability, but that's what I am predicting. I might be completely wrong because it's a completely blind prediction. We have not seen a single team of single team of Ruben Amorim. All that he has mentioned is that there might not be too many changes in the lineup. We will see similar names, but let's see what the other players are going to be looking like. In the midfield, I am going to go with Casemiro. And just for the fact that Menu had a complete training session and is back fit, I am also going to include Menu in the midfield. Ugarte can very well feature in it because Ugarte has played in Amorim's system at Sporting, so he will know it better. So Ugarte can very well feature in it. But just going by the fact that Casemiro and Menu have had more training time with him at Manchester United, I'm going with those two names for now. But it can easily be Ugarte and Casemiro. Now comes the differentials. All right, so I am going to be putting Bruno up here, and it's going to look as a winger. But this I could not find the exact formation that might be employed by Ruben in this particular graphic. So I'm going to go with a winger, but it's not winger. It's just playing in behind the striker. And considering the fact that Bruno often plays a bit more floating role, he will be moving around, but I do feel that we will often see Rashford and Højlund up front while Bruno is trying to find the ball to pass it to them. So I feel Bruno is going to play right up behind the strikers, but he will also be covering the wide areas is what I personally feel. And then the striker, I'm going to go with Højlund up front. Now comes the more differentials. All right, so I would want to see Garnacho playing, but Garnacho I don't think has had a complete training session with Amorim, and I don't know if Amorim understands his strengths and weaknesses. So just going by that fact, I'm going to put Ahmad in the lineup, and that will be in the right midfield plus right wing back position, so that he can give a bit of a support. In the back three, I've seen a lot of predictions predicting Euro will play. Now Euro is just coming back from a big injury. He's 100% fit. He was withdrawn from the under-21 game as well, which goes to show that he will have game time. But I don't think that Euro will play all 90 minutes. He might start and then be substituted off. But I see, as of this game, what's his name? Diogo Dalot playing in the back three position, where he will cover also the attacking positions in the midfield as well, defensive midfield. I see him coming up to the coming up to Menu's position, and Menu coming up to Bruno's position, and I'm going to put in the left midfielder position of Mazraoui. Now Mazraoui at left back was absolutely immense in the last few games, and I feel that he has gotten a sense of it, of defending towards the left. So when the attacking play moves to the right, I think Mazraoui can drop back as the third defender, while Dalot can move up ahead in the lineup. And similarly, when Dalot is back, Mazraoui can make up for that attacking field of play as well. So this is what I feel the team can look like. But again, it's all a shot in the dark. I don't know exactly what Amorim is thinking, of course, because we haven't seen a single team of his for Manchester United yet, and we don't have the exact players to fit his style as well. So there has to be a lot of adapting to do. But I feel that this can be a team that he can be focused on. Again, a lot of people are also mentioning the fact that Gyökeres should be brought in as a striking option, as another striking option. I personally feel that Højlund has a high ceiling and he can develop, considering his conversion rate in both the European competitions as well as the Premier League. I think it's he will shine in this particular system because Amorim likes the striker to get chances. And if we are able to create more chances for Højlund, I 100% believe that he is going to be one of the top strikers in the league and for Manchester United as well. So this is the team that I'm going with for this match against Ipswich. I might get all 11 wrong, which is hardly a possibility, but I might get very few right. That can be a possibility, but this is what I'm going with. We are going to come back to it in the match reaction, hopefully a winning match reaction. And as I predicted that Manchester United are going to win this one, I predict a score of 3-1. I feel that there might be a few shortcomings in the defensive measures, considering the fact that Ipswich are more well drilled and our defensive setup is being reformed. So I do think that Ipswich might get a goal. It can end up being 3-2 as well, but I see us winning a game, scoring 3 goals and Ipswich scoring 1 goal. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 prediction to Manchester United, and I hope that it is that. So that's it for the Manchester United preview versus Ipswich, and also the press conference reaction of Ruben Amorim. And next up, we are going to have the Premier League Gameweek Preview. We are going to quickly look at all the games that are going to be played this weekend. And the Premier League is back, so it's a good weekend. And we're going to be a lot of interesting games that are up in the lineup ahead. So we are going to be doing a prediction and a bit of an FPL talk as well right after this segment. So see you there. Okay, so let me get the not Ruben's press conference. That's not what I need. I need this. Right. Yeah, I need this. No, I don't need that. I don't need that. I need that. I don't need that. Yes. All right. So I've gotten it now finally. And oh no, what's? For some reason it's towards the right, but I think we can make do with it. But anyways, the Premier League is back, and it's back with a bang, and we have a lot of games to go look at as well. So starting with first game is Leicester versus Chelsea. Now Leicester has had a few good results, and I think they are in a good position in the league. However, I do feel that Chelsea are also a good team under Enzo Maresca, and especially with Palmer's form, I don't see a place wherein they will end up losing to Leicester. So I am going with a Chelsea win for this one. And the scoreline, Leicester are good defensively. It's their home. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 scoreline to Chelsea. Next up is Arsenal versus Forest. It's going to be a cracker of a game. Again, Nuno Espirito Santos has done amazing work with Nottingham Forest. I mean, to see that Forest are in the top 4, top 5 is insane amount of turnaround for them. Chris Wood has been absolutely amazing as well. So yeah, I see this to be a good fight, but it's at the Emirates and it's against Arsenal. Arsenal have lost a few points as well. I don't see them losing this one. Again, it can be an upset. Forest can make an upset at the Emirates, but I'm going to go with an Arsenal win, and I'm going to go with a 3-2 scoreline to Arsenal. Alright, so next up is Villa versus Crystal Palace. Palace are absolutely abysmal, and Villa are absolutely force in this league right now. So I'm going to go with a predictable Villa win, and it's going to be a 2-0 win to Aston Villa. Bournemouth versus Brighton. It's going to be a cracker of a game, this one. Bournemouth versus Brighton can be a very, very, very interesting game. Oh, I don't know I'm really a loss for words for this one, because Bournemouth did the upset against Arsenal, against City, and Brighton have a good team as well. So, but I'm going to go with a. I think I'm going to go with a narrow Brighton win. Is what I'm feeling in this one. So I'm going to go with a Brighton win of 2-1 to Brighton. All right. Next up is Everton versus Brentford. Every time I predict, I want Everton to win. I want Everton to get a point, but they end up disappointing me. So for this one, I'm going to go with the Brentford win, and it's going to be. I don't think Everton are going to score in this one, so I'm going to go with a comfortable Brentford win, 3-0. All right, so Fulham versus Wolves. This is also going to be a cracker of a game. This one, Wolves are in the relegation zone, but they want to fight, and Fulham are just about where they are supposed to be. I see Wolves fighting this one. I see this one being a draw, a 2-2 draw is what I'm going for. Then there's the big one, Man City versus Spurs. And do I think that Spurs can win against City? With Pep signing the new contract, with Pep losing the last 4 games, I don't think he's going to lose 5 on the bounce. I'm going to go with a Manchester City win for this one, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Manchester City. And hopefully Haaland is on the score sheet, because he's costing me a lot of points in my FPL team as well, because I haven't moved him out as of yet. I haven't lost faith in him because he's a goal scoring machine. But anyways, next up is Southampton versus Liverpool. Southampton versus Liverpool is going to be a Liverpool win, but it's not going to be an easy game. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 scoreline or a 1-0 scoreline. Like basically a 1-goal win for Liverpool. Ipswich versus Manchester United. I already predicted this. New manager bounce, new style of play at Ipswich. Ipswich is in the relegation zone. So yep, is going to, in my prediction, it's going to be the Man United win 3-1. And the final game of this game week is Newcastle versus West Ham. Cracker of a game again, it's going to be. And I think it's going to be with Isak coming back in form and West Ham not having the best of times. I'm going to go with the Newcastle win. And I will say this is going to be a 3-1 win to Newcastle. So those are my predictions logged in for the game week. And we're going to come back to it and see how many I've gotten it right. And you can get on your predictions below as well, and we will see who gets the most right out of us. Enzo is not here, but I'm going to get his predictions as well. I'm going to get him to send the predictions, and I'll see if I can include them when I do the prediction review and results as well, which is going to be released at the short on my channel, so you can check that out. And yep, so that's it for the Premier League game week. Now let's quickly look at my FPL team for the last game week. I ended up getting 60 points, and I think captaining Wissa out of nowhere sort of gave me a big boost in my FPL journey. But Haaland and Højlund again did not fire well. Palmer also was a failure. Smith Rowe again gave me good returns. And yep, those were the results of my last game week, which is game week 11. And now for game week 12. All right, so oh my God, both Van der Ven and Romero are out, so I have to substitute in Johnson. I have no other option because both Van der Ven and Romero are out injured from Spurs game, so I can't have them there. So this has to be my team for the next game week, which is Haaland, Wissa, and Højlund up front. Fernandes, I've brought in Bruno because I feel that Bruno has had a good run of form in the past 5 games. And he is looking like he can get on the score sheet for the upcoming few games with the fixture that we have. So I've brought him back. And finally, I have 2 Manchester United players in my lineup. And then I have Smith Rowe and Palmer. And then I have Kilman, Olaina, and Johnson in my defense, and Nick Pope at goal. So this is going to be my team locked in for game week 12. And wait, it's game week 12. Did I mention, by any chance, game week 11 in my description? I think I did. Yeah, my bad. It's game week 12, guys. All right, I've updated it right now, so it's easier for us to see. But all right, so that's basically it for the preview of the Premier League game week, the preview of Manchester versus Ipswich, Ruben Amorim's. Oh, let me switch the screen while I do the talk, basically. So that's it for the preview of Ipswich versus Manchester United, of the Premier League game week, of my FPL, and also a roundup of the reaction of Amorim's first press conference as Manchester United manager. I think there was a lot to decode in this stream, and by decode, I am brought back to the information that I wanted to share with you guys, which is Decoded by Streamatrix. This is a new channel which is launched by me, so you can check you can take a look at that. It's going to be linked in the description below. It's going to be a deep dive channel about football topics, so be sure to catch that out. And that's it for this particular stream and video. I am going to be continuing my FC25 career mode, which is coming up right next, which is going to be coming up right now. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm not going to be closing the stream, but if you're on YouTube, we are going to start it as a new stream in my FC25 career mode, which is already scheduled on my channel. So you can hop onto that if you're watching here, and I'm going to see you in that stream of my FC25 career mode as Manchester United manager. And spoiler alert, I'm not playing with the back three. I'm playing with the typical 4-2-3-1 lineup. So yeah, I'm going to see you there. Until then, if you want to hang out with me more, you can come join me there, or I'm going to see you in my next video and reaction. So take care.